All right, so are you ready to dive into something pretty big?
Always up for a challenge. What do you got?
Okay, well, you know all this buzz about X becoming like a super app.
Yeah, it's been hard to miss that.
Well, we're gonna like really break it down today, especially this idea of bringing payments into X.
So from tweets to transactions, that's a big leap.
Yeah, exactly. And we're basing this deep dive on this analysis.
I've got it right here.
It's called X and the Introduction of Payments, the start of a new era in social media.
Kitschy title.
I know, right? And it poses this question, like, could X actually become the next, WeChat?
Now that's a question worth exploring. WeChat is such a behemoth in China. It's integrated into so many aspects of daily life.
Right, and that's what's so fascinating about this
It
analysis.
really digs deep into the potential impact of X,
Hmm.
going down this road.
It's not just like, oh, they're going to add a little payment feature here and there.
No, this is about transforming X into a full-blown financial ecosystem.
Yeah, like think about it. You're scrolling through your feed, arguing with someone about the latest, I don't know, celebrity drama,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
then bam, you can send them money right there in the app.
Seamless integration. That's the key here.
Exactly. And the analysis breaks it all down. They're talking peer-to-peer payments, tipping creators, marketplaces built right into X, cryptocurrency, oh, and even stuff like loans and digital wallets.
Well, hold on. That escalated quickly. Loans and digital wallets,
No.
that's a whole other level of financial involvement.
No, right? And
Uh,
each one of these things could have like huge implications.
Yeah, for regular users, for businesses, for the whole financial industry.
Definitely. Okay, so let's start with something everyone can relate to. Splitting a dinner bill with friends or sending some cash to family.
Right. Peer-to-peer payments.
Mm.
Making it simple as, I don't know, liking a post.
That's exactly what the analysis is suggesting. And they talk about how X could make it way cheaper and faster than using like traditional banks.
Especially for international transfers. Imagine sending money to a friend overseas instantly with just a couple of taps.
Yeah, that would be game-changing. But okay, I gotta ask.
Hit me with it. What's the catch?
The analysis also mentions all these challenges, security, fraud, global regulations.
Oh, right, yeah. You can't just launch a global payment system without tackling those head on.
Especially with a platform as big as X. Think about it. Billions of users, trillions of potential transactions.
That's a massive responsibility. And the analysis makes it clear that security has to be X's top priority if they want people to trust them with their money.
Exactly. And not just security. They also have to figure out how to comply with like a zillion different financial regulations all over the world.
That's a legal and logistical nightmare. It's not like they can just flip a switch and suddenly become a global bank.
No, for sure not. So it makes you wonder, like, how are they even going to approach this?
Well, one idea the analysis puts forward is that X could start by focusing on a specific niche.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Micropayments for digital content, for example.
So like instead of subscribing to a whole streaming service.
You could just pay a few cents to watch a single video or listen to one song.
Right. And that could be a way for them to, test the waters, get their systems up and running.
Build some trust with users before they go all in on more complex stuff.
That's actually a pretty clever strategy, but wouldn't they be leaving a ton of money on the table by focusing on such a, small slice of the payments pie?
That's the trade-off. They'd be playing it safe, but potentially missing out on bigger opportunities. It's a tough call.
And speaking of opportunities, let's talk about how all of this could impact content creators.
Right. The analysis talks about how X could give them a whole bunch of new ways to monetize their work.
Yeah, we're talking subscriptions, tips, donations, pay-per-view.
All happening right there within the X ecosystem. Imagine a creator being able to offer exclusive content to their biggest fans for a small monthly fee.
Or getting instant tips from people who love their posts.
It could completely change the creator economy. But can X really compete with the big players like YouTube and Patreon?
That's what I'm wondering. Those platforms already have like massive followings and sophisticated payment systems.
It's true, but X has one big advantage.
What's that?
It's social graph. You're already connected with people who share your interests.
Right.
So imagine being able to support creators you love without ever leaving the platform. It's all about convenience and that instant gratification.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And speaking of instant gratification, the analysis also talks about X's potential to revolutionize e-commerce.
So not just paying for stuff,
Yeah.
but actually buying it right there in the app.
Exactly. Imagine seeing a friend rave about a new product, and then bam, you can buy it right there in the comments.
That's pretty seamless. No more clicking through links or going to external websites.
And the analysis talks about how this could turn X into this like bustling marketplace where businesses, influencers, and even regular people can sell stuff.
Sounds like a digital flea market on steroids. But wait, wouldn't X need to deal with all the logistics of e-commerce?
Oh, you mean like shipping, returns, customer service?
Yeah, all that stuff. Plus, what about security and consumer protection? If people are buying stuff through X, they need to know their money and their data are safe.
You're bringing up a lot of good points here. I mean, e-commerce is a whole different beast compared to, just sending money to a friend.
Exactly. X would need a rock-solid infrastructure to handle all that. And they'd have to be super careful about building trust with both buyers and sellers.
It's definitely a lot to think about. But okay, enough about the serious stuff for a second. Let's talk about something I know you're personally interested in.
Oh, you know me too well. What's on your mind?
Cryptocurrency. The analysis dives into how X could integrate Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even, wait for it, Dogecoin.
Uh-huh. Had to get Dogecoin in there, didn't you?
Of course. But seriously, the analysis even suggests that X could let users make payments with crypto, like for anything.
So you're saying I could be paying for my morning coffee with Dogecoin soon?
Who knows, maybe. But the analysis also acknowledges that crypto is, pretty volatile.
Yeah, 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down.
And a lot of people are still wary of it, so it'll be interesting to see how they address that.
Well, one idea they mention is using stable coins, which are pegged to, like, the US dollar. That could make things a lot more predictable for everyday transactions.
Stable coins. That's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen. Maybe we can tackle that one next time.
Sounds good to me.
But for now, let's stick with X and this crazy idea of turning it into a financial powerhouse.
Right, let's get back to business.
Buckle up.
And, another thing that's really interesting is the potential impact on, like, global financial inclusion.
Oh, yeah, the analysis talks about how X could reach people who, don't have access to traditional banks.
Exactly, like imagine being able to send money to family in another country.
Just like that.
Yep. No more crazy fees or waiting forever for the transfer to go through.
That would be huge for so many people.
Could really level the playing field.
Okay, but let's be real for a second.
Sure.
We've been talking about some pretty futuristic stuff here.
Yeah.
Like, is it really possible for X to become this, like, financial hub, with loans and everything?
Well, the analysis does point out that X wouldn't necessarily have to build everything from scratch.
Oh, right.
They could partner with existing financial institutions.
So, like, team up with banks?
Exactly. Leverage their infrastructure and expertise
That makes sense.
while focusing on creating a seamless user experience within the X platform.
So it would be like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, kind of like a hybrid approach.
But even if they do partner with banks, there's still this big hurdle of, trust.
Oh, absolutely. Trust is everything in finance.
People are already kind of wary of social media companies, with all the data privacy stuff.
Yeah, and now we're talking about trusting them with our money.
Exactly. It's a big ass.
The analysis emphasizes that X would need to be, like, radically transparent.
Yeah. So no more hiding behind vague privacy policies.
No way. They'd have to be super clear about how we're handling data, protecting against fraud, complying with regulations.
And it can't just be like lip service.
Nope. They'd have to prove it. Show that they're taking security seriously.
Actions speak louder than words, right?
Exactly. They need to demonstrate that they're worthy of that trust.
Okay, so let's say, for argument's sake, that they do manage to pull it off.
All right, let's play that scenario out.
What would be the ripple effects? Like, how would this change things for us, the everyday users?
Well, on a practical level, think about all the things that would become easier. Splitting bills with friends, donating to charities, supporting your favorite creators.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll be like frictionless giving and spending.
I'm picturing a world where microtransactions become the norm.
Oh, interesting thought. Like you could tip someone a few cents for a helpful comment.
Or buy a digital sticker to show your appreciation for a post.
It's like bringing the concept of street performers to the online world.
Yeah, and the analysis actually touches on that idea. How X could create new income streams for creators.
Give them more ways to monetize their work.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
Definitely. But it's not just about individuals. The analysis also highlights the potential impact on businesses.
Oh, right, like how they could reach new customers and build loyalty.
Exactly. Imagine businesses being able to interact with their audience in a whole new way.
Not just through ads, but through actual transactions.
Right. It's a more direct and engaging approach.
But wouldn't that make X even more of an advertising giant than it already is?
That's a valid concern. The analysis does acknowledge that X would need to be careful not to turn the platform into one giant shopping mall.
Yeah, people might start to feel like they're constantly being sold to.
Right. It's all about finding the right balance.
Between creating a vibrant marketplace and preserving the social aspects of the platform.
They need to make sure that e-commerce doesn't overshadow the core function of, connecting with people and sharing ideas.
So it seems like X is walking a pretty tightrope here.
Yeah, they have this grand vision.
But they also have to be really careful not to alienate their users.
It's a delicate balancing act.
No doubt about it. Well, this has been a really thought-provoking conversation so far.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's shift the focus to you, the listener.
Okay, time to get interactive,
Imagine scrolling through your X feed,
just like you do every day.
but now you see all these new options.
Send money to a friend, tip a creator, buy something that catches your eye.
Would you embrace this integrated experience?
Or would you be hesitant to give X that much control over your financial life?
It's a question worth pondering.
The way we interact with money is changing rapidly, and X's ambitions reflect that.
It's a sign of the times, for sure.
Whether they become the next WeChat or not, their move into payments is a clear signal that the future of social media is intertwined with the future of finance.
All right, so we're in the home stretch of our deep dive. But the big question remains. Can X actually pull this off? Become the next WeChat, I mean.
Well, the analysis gives us like a roadmap, but not the destination.
Right. It lays out the playing field.
Yeah, X has this massive user base.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk, well, he's known for shaking things up.
To say the least. But they're going up against some pretty good players.
Giants, really, in both finance and e-commerce.
It's like David versus Goliath, but like times 1,000.
With billions of dollars on the line and maybe even the future of, how we interact online.
So, in your view, what are the make or break factors for X here?
I think the absolute number one thing is going to be security.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They got to build a system that's like Fort Knox level security.
But for a platform that's also known for being, well, kind of a free-for-all.
Exactly, and that's the crazy part.
Like you've got this, like, wild west of social media.
Full of hot takes and memes and whatever else.
And then you're trying to mix that with the, super serious world of finance.
With people's hard-earned money.
Can those two worlds even exist together?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
So how do they bridge that gap?
The analysis emphasizes transparency, big time.
Okay, so no more shady algorithms or hidden data collection.
Nope, they got to be upfront about everything.
How they handle user data, how they protect against fraud, how they comply with all those regulations.
And it can't just be words, they have to show it.
Prove it with actions.
Yeah, like give users real control over their data and show that security is their top priority.
It sounds like a massive undertaking.
Oh, it definitely is.
Like I'm imagining an army of engineers and lawyers.
All working nonstop just to keep up with all the regulations.
It's almost like they're building a bank from the ground up.
Except on top of a platform that already has billions of users.
It's mind-boggling.
And the analysis doesn't shy away from that.
Right, like there are going to be bumps in the road.
For sure, it's not going to be easy.
But that's what makes this so interesting to follow.
Totally agree. It's like a high-stakes experiment playing out in real time.
So what should we be looking out for as things develop? What are the signs that X is, on the right track?
Keep an eye out for partnerships.
Oh, like with existing financial institutions.
Exactly. If they start teaming up with banks and payment processors.
That would be a pretty big signal.
Yeah, it would show that they're serious about building a legitimate, trustworthy system.
And what about like everyday users? Will people actually buy into this idea of, managing their money on X?
That's the ultimate test. User adoption is going to make or break this whole thing.
Right. It all comes down to whether people actually use it.
The analysis suggests that the key is going to be user experience.
Make it easy. Make it intuitive.
Exactly. If X can make sending money or buying stuff as easy as scrolling through your feed,
like a natural extension of how we already use the app.
Then they might just have a chance.
But it's a tough needle to thread, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is not going to be easy.
So, as we wrap things up here, It seems like X is standing at a crossroads.
They have this grand vision of becoming a financial super app,
But the road ahead is, well, pretty daunting.
to say the least. But that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating.
It's like we're watching history unfold in real time.
The lines between social media, finance, and e-commerce are blurring right before our eyes,
And X is right there at the center of it all.
pushing the boundaries, testing the
And
limits.
it's a wild time to be alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a story that's just getting started.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. But the conversation doesn't have to end here.
We want to hear from you.
Head over to our website or social media pages and let us know your thoughts.
What do you think about X's ambitions? Do you think they can become the next WeChat?
Would you trust them with your money?
Share your thoughts, and let's keep this discussion going.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a wild ride.